Hi there, welcome to PurnaYoga828.com. My name is Letitia and this is Brooke. And today we're going to be going through classical Surya Namaskar, which is the oldest extant physical practice. People have been doing this series for thousands of years. It's a nearly complete physical practice that increases strength and flexibility in your entire body. The only thing that's missing from it is a twist. It builds stamina in your muscles as well as lung capacity. All of the lifting and lowering of your head massages the thyroid gland. It energizes and tones the kidneys and helps focus your mind and minimize the effects of distractions. Essentially, it's meditation in motion. It helps us stay grounded in the present and allows us to work with the qualities of surrender and aspiration, letting go and expanding. And it helps facilitate change in our lives and moving forward, as well as connecting the mind and the body through the breath. So we're going to go through the whole series in the individual poses, and I invite you to pause the recording and even work on each individual piece before putting it together in a flow, and we'll do that at the end. You might find it helpful to use the shoulder opening video before doing this one, just to bring a little bit more mobility. And for some people, that just feels better for this sequence. All right, so let's start at the head of the mat. And let's actually face this direction and come right here. So the first pose is Namaskarasana. Bring your hands to your heart center. The chief actions in this pose is to root down through your heels, lift your quadriceps in the pit of the abdomen, and as you bow your head, drop your shoulder blades. Press down through your heels, lift the pit of the abdomen, drop your shoulder blades. On your inhalation, keep lifting the pit of the abdomen as you shift the hips forward, keep the weight in your heels, and take the arms up and back. Spread your shoulder blades. Now, bend your knees deeply and keep the front body long as you forward fold into Uttanasana. In this pose, our central action is to contract the quadriceps to lengthen the hamstrings. If you feel any low back discomfort, you can take the feet slightly apart or keep the knees slightly bent. Look at your navel as much as possible. Uttanasana. Inhaling, lift the head up, look up as much as possible, creating a little back bend in your upper back in Urdhva Mukha Konasana. Still maintain the contraction of your quadricep and the lengthening of your hamstrings. The next pose is Vanarasana, the low lunge. So Brooke, go ahead. Everyone, step the right leg back, take the right knee down to the ground, point your right toes straight back. First, check that your left shin is perpendicular to the earth. Then, move your rear hip towards the knee of your front leg. Drop both hips forward and downward. And then lift the bottom of your belly, lift your sternum, lift your chin, and look up. Exhaling, step back into Halakasana, plank pose. Bring the legs together unless there's any low back discomfort. Check that your hands are directly underneath your shoulders or slightly in front. If there's any wrist discomfort, you can always pad underneath the heel of the hand to change the angle and make it a little more comfortable on your wrist. The chief actions in this pose is to lift the bottom of the belly up, to move the heels away from the head and the head away from the heels. Spread your shoulder blades. And then draw the hands towards the toes and the toes towards the hands. Ashtanga Namaskar is the next pose. So Brooke, drop the knees all the way down. Point your toes back, lift your tail up. Now the chief action of this pose is in the arms, which is why I had Brooke take her knees all the way down. So hug your elbows in towards your sides as you drop the chest and chin down and keep the hips lifted. Once you are down, open the front of your throat as much as you can, right? Part of that thyroid work. Ashtanga Namaskar. On your next inhalation, scoop the chest forward, bringing the hips and the belly down to the ground. Keep your chest lifted. Lift your hands back, arms back, legs up. Chief actions for Shalabhasana. Press the belly into the earth. Move the chin away from the toes and the toes away from the chin. Contract all of the muscles of the back body to lift the legs and the chest as high as you can while maintaining internal rotation of your legs. Press your hands down. Lower your legs down. Now internally rotate your legs to press the pinky toes down into the earth. Contract the buttocks. Lift the bottom of your belly and inhaling, straighten your arms and come up into Bhujangasana. Chief actions here. Keep the internal rotation of your legs. Lift the bottom of your belly. Drop your shoulder blades towards your waist. Curl your toes under and lift your hips up and back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Bring the feet together unless there's low back pain. Now, downward facing dog in Surya Namaskar is a little bit different than just doing the pose on its own. The chief difference is working that thyroid gland again. So tuck your chin and look at your navel as much as you can. Now that's actually all of the poses of Surya Namaskar. Everything else just repeats itself. So walk your feet forward, everyone, feet to hands. Bend your knees deeply. Bring your hands together and then inhaling, come all the way up. Take the hands back and then bring them down to your heart. Now technically we only did one half of the lunge. All of those other poses were symmetrical poses. So now we're going to go through one round of classical Surya Namaskar, doing both sides, the right side and the left side. So you'll get both lunges in. If at this point you're like, oh, I feel unbalanced, you can take a moment and take a lunge with the right leg forward and the left leg back before beginning this flow process. All right, so start in Namaskarasana with your hands at your heart. Press down through your heels, lift the bottom of your belly, and exhaling, look into your heart as you drop your shoulder blades. Inhaling, come into Ardha Chandrasana, hips forward, hands up, press down through your heels. Exhaling, bend the knees deeply as you forward fold into Uttanasana, bringing your hands to the ground, contracting your quadriceps and looking at your navel. Inhaling, look up, come into Urdhva Mukha Uttanasana, draw your shoulder blades towards your waist as you move your sternum towards your chin. And then on the next exhalation, step the right leg back, take the right knee down, coming into Vanarasana. Check that the shin is perpendicular to the earth. Move your outer right hip towards your inner left knee. Draw both hips down towards the mat and inhale and lift the bottom of your belly. Lift your sternum, lift your chin. Exhaling, step back into Palakasana, plank pose. Hug the legs together. Push the ground away from you. Spread your shoulder blades. Move the bottom of your belly towards your sternum, the flesh of the buttocks towards the heels. Move the head away from the feet and the feet away from the head. And then draw the hands towards the toes and the toes towards the hands. Total front body strengthening in this pose. Now, when we were showing Ashtanga Namaskar before, we dropped the knees down. Here we're going to show the full version of the pose. So bend the knees slightly. Turn the eyes, the elbows forward, and hug the elbows in towards your waist as you drop knees, chest, and chin all at once. And once you land, immediately point the toes back. And then inhaling, scoop the chest forward, stretch the arms up and back, lift the legs up with that strong internal rotation. Press the belly into the ground, move the chin away from the toes, toes away from the chin. Contract all of the muscles of the back body. And then exhaling, take the hands down, take the legs down. And inhaling, lift the bottom of your belly to come up into Bhujangasana, drawing your shoulder blades down towards your waist. And then curl the toes under and lift the hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Tuck your chin and gaze at your navel. Inhaling, look up. Exhaling, step the right leg forward. Take the left knee down. Point the left toes back. Check that the right shin is perpendicular to the earth. Move your outer left hip towards your inner right knee. Move both hips down towards the ground. Lift the bottom of the belly, your sternum, and your chin as you look up. On your next exhalation, step the rear leg forward. Bend your knees deeply. Bring your hands together. And in inhaling, come all the way up. Ardha Chandrasana, spread your shoulder blades. And exhaling, bring the hands back down to the heart. All right, so that's the right side. Now let's do the left. We're actually going to add one more little piece that we didn't show on the first side. Both are actually appropriate. So decide what feels right for you once you see this new addition. If you have high blood pressure, you definitely want to work with this new addition that we're going to show after Shalabhasana on the left side. Exhaling, look into your heart. Drop your shoulder blades. Inhaling, shift the hips forward, take the arms up and back, spread your shoulder blades in Ardha Chandrasana. Exhaling, bend your knees to work your quads more, to make it more cardiovascular as you forward fold into Uttanasana. Inhaling, look up, Urdhva Mukha Uttanasana. Exhaling, step your left leg back. Take the left knee down, point the left toes back. Check the perpendicularity of your right shin. Move your outer left hip towards your inner right knee. Drop both hips down and lift the bottom of your belly, your chest, your chin as you look up. Exhaling, step back into Palakasana. Again, legs together. We want the legs together throughout Surya Namaskar except during the lunge. Inhale in the pose. And then exhaling, drop down, knees, chest, and chin into Ashtanga Namaskar. Point your toes back once you land. Inhaling, scoop forward into Shalabhasana. Lift the arms up, lift the legs up. Now, keep the shoulders lifted. Press the hands into the ground. Lower your legs. And with that lift of the shoulder on the exhalation, look into your heart. Inhaling, press the pinky toes down, contract the buttocks, lift the bottom of your belly, and inhaling, come on up into Bhujangasana. If there's any low back discomfort, you can separate the legs. Exhaling, curl the toes under and lift the inner groins up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, legs together, tuck your chin. Notice how all of this is back and forth between lifting the chin and tucking the chin. Lifting the chin and tucking the chin. And then inhaling, look up. And exhaling, step your left leg forward. Take the right knee down. Check the perpendicularity of your shin. Draw the hips down. And then inhaling, lift the sternum, the chin. Look up. And exhaling, step the right leg forward. Bend your knees, bring your hands together, inhaling, pump the quadriceps, more strength in the quads as you come up. And then exhaling, bring the hands back down to the heart. And then center your mind one time. Feeling that sense of focus, of moving all your awareness into that inner line of the body. All right, everyone. That is the basics of classical Surya Namaskar. That was one round, a right side and then a left side. I encourage you to work with this to learn the basics of the alignments of the poses and start practicing the flow. And we actually have more videos coming on classical Surya Namaskar to focus more on the breath, the gaze, and the energetic components. Thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in any of our live classes. Have a great day.